Nuclear Security Summit is an initiative of US President Barack Obama, who has highlighted concerns over nuclear terrorism. It's a biennial summit process. So in 2010, there was a first summit in Washington. In 2012, there was a summit in Seoul, South Korea. And next week, the world leaders are meeting in The Hague, Netherlands. The most important gain from this summit is that they have brought global attention to the issue of nuclear terrorism. It's a big concern for the United States and the West, particularly because of two reasons. A, in 1991, after the breakup of the Soviet Union, there was a fear that some of the groups who should not have access to the nuclear weapons were getting access. And second, Al Qaida and other terror groups trying to acquire WMD capability. In 2013, the global nuclear watchdog, the International Atomic Energy Agency, spoke about the fact that every year almost hundreds of cases are reported to the IAEA on the theft of the nuclear material. Now, the chance of a nuclear terrorism event happening are very low, but if such an event occurs, the consequences will be highly disastrous for everybody. On the agenda of the Hague Summit this year is working towards establishing tighter international controls over nuclear materials, seeking greater transparency on national measures to enhance nuclear security, asking more countries to join the international conventions on the physical protection of the nuclear materials, reducing the use of the highly enriched uranium in the national nuclear programs, and of course, strengthening the International Atomic Energy Agency. India has an exemplary record in the protection of the nuclear materials. We have been party to two of the agreements in this regard. First is the International Convention on the Suppression of the Acts of Nuclear Terrorism, which is a United Nations treaty which criminalizes the acts of nuclear terrorism. And secondly, we are also party to the Convention on the Physical Protection of Nuclear Materials, which legally binds the state from protecting its nuclear material. We have also strenuously implemented the UN Security Council Resolution 1540, which is concerned with preventing traffic of the radioactive and other nuclear materials. And we have also contributed last year around $1 million to the strengthening of the IAEA. Under the Container Security Initiative, which looks at the suspicious cargo traffic of the WMD material, India has made Mumbai's Nhava Sheva port as a CSI compliant port. Now, what we should do at this year's Nuclear Security Summit in The Hague. Despite having an exemplary nuclear security record, we live in a dangerous neighborhood next to a country which has a dangerous combination of being a terror safe haven and also a terrible history of the proliferation of the nuclear materials. Now, this has enhanced a threat against us, as evidenced by the fact that last year, when we arrested one of the operatives of the Indian Mujahideen, Yasin Bhatkal, he spoke about the fact that his group in Pakistan was looking for access to the nuclear material for carrying out a nuclear attack on the city of Surat in Gujarat. While access to such fissile material may be hard to come by for the terrorist groups, the increasing radicalization of the Pakistani society and the support that some of these groups receive from the Pakistan's security establishment, we should be proactively working to prevent such a possibility from happening. Therefore, we should use the opportunity given by the Nuclear Security Summit at The Hague to highlight our concerns because the focus is on nuclear terrorism. We should also be pressing for universalizing the conventions and its adherence, and we should press countries like Pakistan from becoming the members of the Convention on Nuclear Terrorism. Therefore, we should seize the opportunity given by the Nuclear Security Summit and highlight our concerns on Pakistan and raise awareness about nuclear terrorism. We should also be pressing for the universalization of the agreements and ask more countries, including Pakistan, to join the International Convention on the Nuclear Terrorism. We should be crystal clear that states should not extend any support to non-state actors which are seeking the weapons of mass destruction. Domestically, we need to constantly review our safety measures and protocols, particularly as the private sector enters the nuclear field. Therefore, the government should join hands with the private sector to evolve best practices in the safety protocols. Secondly, the next elected parliament should also expedite clearing the passage for the Nuclear Safety Authority bill, which will replace the Atomic Energy Regulatory Authority. Having said that, a focus on nuclear terrorism and nuclear security should not make us lose the sight of the goal of nuclear disarmament, because that is the most foolproof guarantee for preventing and eliminating any possibility of nuclear terrorism.